All right, so in this lesson, we are going to look how we can assign a string in R programming. A string can be assigned between two double quotes or a single quote. All right. Do remember, either you need to use two double quote or two single quote. You cannot use one double quote and then there is a single quote. All right. So you cannot use this one in a pair. And let me tell you how you can do assignment. So let's say you have this A is equal to, and there I'm saying that this KGP toolkit, all right, at kgptalkie.com. So this one is A, and there you see you have got the A. You can also use the print statement to print this particular variable. You can also use the cat statement to print this particular variable. So this is how you can assign a string by using the two double quote, and similarly you can also use two double quote, right? Visit kgptalkie.com. So this one is single quote, all right, and you can similarly print it. And one more thing you can do, let's say if you want to use double quote or single quote in between these string, how you can do that? For example, let's say you want to put some emphasis, and how you can do that? I just want to say that, let's say you want to say here the KGP talkies, all right, lectures. So do you see this one? We have also used a double quote and the single quote. So the single quote is being used as apostrophe, and there you can assign it like this one. So there you have got the C. Mean to say here, if you want to use a single quote, then you should put a double quote, all right, outside of your string. And if you want to use a double quote inside a string, then you should put a single quote outside of the string. For example, let's say you want to assign here D is equal to, let's say if you say like this is like this, KGP talkie, all right. I mean to say that I just want to highlight this particular part, all right. So it's not working. Why it is not working? Because we are using double quote. So if we make it a single quote, it's gonna work. You see there? So inside this single quote, we have highlighted this particular word in a double quote. And there you execute this, and there D you have got like this. All right. And do you see there? This one is a backslash. And if you use here this print D, and this one is going to be your string. And this backslash says that if you want to even use a double quote, then you can put there a backslash, and then it will work there. For example, let's say if you want to put here this double quote, and there you also want to put the double quote, but you need to use here a backslash. When you use a backslash, that means you want to skip any special meaning after this backslash. So after this backslash, we have this double quote, and then we are skipping any specific meaning. That means this is going to be a closing string if we don't use this one. So that's why we are using that one. And if you execute that, you get the same result what we had seen earlier. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. Thanks a lot for watching it. I'll see you next lesson. All right, so previously we have seen how we can assign a string to a variable. Now I'm going to show you how you can actually do concatenation. So concatenation means we want to join all these strings in a single string. And you know we can use here a print to print a particular string. And if we want to print here two strings simultaneously, it's not going to print. We need to use here a cat, and if we use a cat, we can get these two strings together. All right. So how we can do actually these string concatenation? This is just, this cat is being used only for a print. It is not concatenating anything. And if you put here, let's say cat, I want to put here something like this. And thereafter, if you see this x is null. Do you see there? That means this cat is not returning anything. So this one is not concatenation. This is just returning null, and it is just printing A and B. All right. Perfect. So thereafter, I just want to delete this one so that you don't get confused. We want to use here a particular function type, which is known as a paste function. All right, sorry, this one is a paste function, and this one we'll use for a string manipulation. All right, so how we can do that? We can simply use here the paste. All right, and then we can write the variable which we want to paste it here. Thereafter, do you see there, this paste is having, you can pass there the list of inputs which you want to join together. And thereafter, it has a separator. Separator says that, what separator? You want to join these strings. Moreover, I'm going to say that hello. All right. Thereafter, in B, I'm saying that here the KGP, and C, I'm saying here talkie. All right. So let's go ahead and run these 4 lines. I mean to say that 3 line, and thereafter I'm doing here paste A and B. Let's go ahead and print it. It says that hello KG. So by default, do you see there a space has been inserted between these two consecutive strings? Let's say if you want to insert here a comma, then how you can do? For that, you need to see the description or details of this function. You can simply put here a question mark. Then you can say that there is the paste and run it. All right, so you get something like this, and it says that we have here a paste, and this paste says that we can pass here the list of variable which we want to concatenate, and thereafter this separator, a default separator is a space. We can change it to something else, whatever we want, and there is the recycle and the collapse. You can get the details of these variables, but we are not interested in the other variables. We are interested in only separated. All right, so let's go ahead and put there a separator, and when I say here this separator is equal to, I'm going to put here this pipe there. Let's go ahead and run it. It says that hello KGP, and similarly if you want to put here something like this, you get there hello KGP, and you can also put here C variable as well, and there you see hello KGP talkie. So this is how you can use the paste function, and thanks a lot for watching it. I'll see you in next lesson. All right, now let's go ahead and see how we can format our strings and number by using a format function. So we are going to use here a format function, and we will be doing our string and number formatting by using this function. So let's say you have given a particular value, let's say pi 3.14 1592. All right, so this is the pi value. There you have. So this one is pi value, and you want to just use it only for the 3 digit. All right, mean to say that, let's say if you have any data or numerical data or double data which have large number of decimal point, and you want to just limit it to second or third decimal point, then how you can do that? That means, let's say if you want to use it like, if you want to just display it like this, 3.14, then how you can display it in your R program? So it's like this. You need to use here the format, and in the format you need to put your number. So there I have here this number, which is pi 3.141592. Let's go ahead and run it. So there x is assigned there, and if you put your x here, and thereafter you need to pass here the digits. Digit says that how many digits you want to print. That means how many digits you want to return. And in this, we want to return only 3 digits. And if you run it, there you get there 3.14. And basically one more thing, what is happening, we have passed here this particular data type, which was actually double data type. You check there the type of x, and there you see it's double data type. And if you get the return of this function, that's the y, and then you check if type of y, you will be seeing that this is character type. So that's what the difference you can notice there. And thereafter simply you can use here to convert this string into a double format like this, as there you have double, and then you can simply use your y. So after this you have got your y in the form of double. All right, perfect. Now let's go ahead and see how we can present it into a scientific notation. And to present it in a scientific notation, we are again going to use here the format. In the format, we pass the value of pi, and thereafter I say there the scientific notation. All right, so there you have the scientific notation as the true value. Let's go ahead and run it. So once we run it, thereafter we see that there our pi value has been converted into a scientific notation. All right, so in this lesson, we are going to use here a colon operator for a vector operation. So there we have this colon operators for vector operation. In fact, vector creation, actually, it's not operation. All right. So there is two type of vector. One is a single element vector. You need to know one thing, R works in a form of matrix and the vector. Even if we present here a single digit, that is assigned as a vector internally in a R. So if a particular variable holds only one value, that means that this one is a single value or a single element vector. And another property of a vector is it can hold only a single type of the data. Either it can hold numeric or a double or a string, or you can say the raw, or all those things. All right. So let's go ahead and first assign a single element vector. Thereafter, I'll show you how you can create a multiple element vectors. So the first of all, as usual, we have been doing this one is a single element vector. All right. You can assign any variable which is having a single element, that is known as a single element vector. And if you want to create a multiple element vector, we need to use here a colon operator. So in a colon operator, it's pretty much simple. Let's say if I say x is equal to 1 to 10. So do you see there a colon operator? This is going to create a vector, and the vector will be created for a number which will be distributed from 1 to 10. And the step size is there 1. And if I run it, there you will notice that our x is having a value from 1 to 10. All right. And if you remember, the previously we have also seen there is a sequence function. In the sequence function, you can create also a same type of a vector. There you need to put here 1, 10. Do remember the differences there? Earlier we used there 1 colon 10, but here we are using 1, 10. Thereafter, you just run it and then you will be getting there the same result. You might be wondering that when we can use this a simpler version of this sequence, then why we need to use this one? There is the advantage. We need to see the first documentation of this sequence. Just run it. There you will see the documentation. In the documentation, it says that the first value is from, and this one is the 2. This by says that what is going to be a step size. All right. So there we can assign overall step size for a sequence. So let's go ahead and regenerate our number from 1 to 10, which is as usual. But if I say here the 0.1, then you are going to get here the total number of 100 data points. That's mean it is incrementing this one. The values in between, it is incrementing by the factor of 0.1. And both of these operations, which we had seen here, this is also creating a multi-element vector. This one is also creating a multi-element vector, and there. So the length of a multi-element vector can be different. It's not always fixed. All right, so this is the one way to create it. And this is not only valid to create it between integer to integer value, although this is represented as the double, but it seems it is integer. So unless and until it is specified, we will consider that, okay, the integer, or you can say whole value. All right, so there is no decimal point actually. All right, so you can also do like, let's say you want to generate from 1 to 3.14. All right, so you can also generate that. And the one thing you should notice that when we start generating from this 1, it is incrementing in the step size of 1. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3. All right, and thereafter 3 to 4, and it compare that this value is less than 4, so it just stopped there. Mean to say that it is working in the decimal point, and it is taking the reference this starting point. When we say that 1.1, and now if we run, we get this one as a base, and thereafter plus 1, 2.1, and 3.1. But at the same time, if we do here 1.2, then we will get only here 1.2 and 2.2. We are not getting anything 3, because when we do it, it becomes there 3.2, and 3.2 is greater than this value. So it will not generate that particular vector. All right. And this is the automatic way to generate a vector. You can also generate a vector by using a manual operation. We have also seen a C function. So this C function is used for vector generation. And in that, we are going to say there, like, let's say the apple, and then I say there KGP, and then finally Toki. All right, let's say there I do 1 and 3, and let's go ahead and run it. So once we run it, we see this final print. But one thing is here a very unique, and it's very interesting. If you remember at the start of this lesson, I told you that vector can save a similar type of value. So what happened here? It has converted these numeric values into a string value. All right. So there you see these numeric values 1 and 3 has been converted to a string format. So that's what the beauty of this vector generation in our program. All right, so this is all about in this lesson. Thanks a lot for watching it. I will see you in next lesson. All right, now I'm going to show you the select operator to access the vector elements. We can simply assign it to a variable name, and I'm just going to give a name. Let's say this one. So there we have got our vector A, and this is having these values: apple, KGP, Toki, 1 and 3. Now I'm going to show you with this square bracket how you can select the elements from this vector. So it's pretty much simple. You can simply do like there A and then you can give any index which you want to select. If you get here 1, that's when this is going to select a first value. And do you notice here the differences between the R programming and the traditional programming languages? Like in the C, we get our operator, I mean to say that the index and the start of the index is 0 in C programming and other traditional languages. But in R programming, we use the first index as 1 here. All right, so that's the A1. And similarly, you can select any other index value, A2, that's the second one. You can also select the multiple values together like 1, 2, but it's not going to work here. You need to pass here a vector to select it. So there I'm going to pass a vector, and it is saying that select 1 and 2. All right. Thereafter, there is another way to also select it. It's like creating the true and false. So it's like this, A, and then I put it like this inside a vector. Then I say here the true. All right, there I say a false. And if you run it, you get there that is the true. So apple is being printed, and we said there a false for KGP. So KGP is not printed. Thereafter, the rest of other things are printed. All right. And one more thing you should notice here is that if we pass only these two vectors, all right, true and the false, so this is repetitive in order. That's mean it prints there. The first one is skip the second one, then it print this one, and it is skip this one, and then it prints this one. All right, because the true false 1 0 1 0, and there is 1. And similarly, if you use here the false, in this way, it's going to 1 0 0 1 0. All right. That means 1 0 0, it is printing the apple. 0 0, it's not printing KGP talkie. There is again 1, it is printing 1, and then 0, the 3 is not being printed. And at the same time, if you pass the whole, I mean to say that the length of this is vector, and this vector, if it is same, then it will just print as it is written there, like this one. Let's say you have this, and then you say here the true. So you get something like this: true, false, false, and there is the true. So there you get the apple and 3. And if you try to exceed the range we have here, so it says that we have only these values, but this one is exceeding. It does not produce any error, but it just says that this is not applicable. That's when that is the null value.